Hello. So, recently in our history/literature class, we read The Oresteia, a magnificent trilogy of plays by the Greek playwright dude, bro. And this is a summary written and drawn by my good friend Ryan, but voiced by me. Why? Good question. I really don't know. Maybe it's like I'm a trophy husband, but way hotter. And we're not dating. Yeah. Voice your opinion on my physical attractiveness in the comments below. Ryan, please draw me, but like 50% less attractive. Just to make it more believable. Please. Please, pretty please. I think she did it, I don't know. In a nutshell, The Oresteia is a series of 3 plays that, at first glance, just looks like a story with a crap ton of family drama. But it is in reality the story of the world's first murder trial with a crap ton of family drama. And it goes something like this. Well, actually, first, there's a bit of backstory you should know going into this. The whole mess began with a guy called Tantalus who, long story short, killed his own son and fed his cooked-up remains to the gods. Once they found that out, as punishment, he was to spend eternity sunk waist deep in a lake he could never drink from, underneath a fruit tree they could never eat from. And as far as we know, he's still down there today. Sorry. Now, Tantalus' son Pelops, whom the gods later resurrected, had 2 sons, Thyestes and Atreus, who got along just about as well as oil and water. So the story goes. Thyestes slept with Atreus' wife, and so, in retaliation, Atreus pulled a Tantalus, that's what we're calling it from now on, and killed and cooked up Thyestes' 2 sons for the latter to eat for dinner. After a secret ingredient had been revealed over dessert, and Thyestes had thoroughly and quite graciously puked out his guts, he cursed, as very much was the custom, Atreus' descendants with misfortune for the rest of their days. And now, here we are. Let's get this road on the show. The first of the 3 plays, Agamemnon, opens with a watchman lamenting to the audience about how long he's been watching for a sign that the Greeks have won the Trojan War. The post was given to him by Agamemnon's wife, Clytemnestra, who tasked him with giving some kind of signal as soon as he learned of the outcome of the war, which, at least in the version translated by Robert Fagles, was just to yell really loudly. The actual line is, "Aye!" with exactly 6 C's. Make of that what you will. Having heard the signal, Clytemnestra gives a cry of triumph, which I can only assume is something along the lines of, "Aye!" Maybe like a call and response sort of thing, and goes around lighting the altars in the palace as to alert the people of the city that, huzzah, the Greeks have won the war. All while this is happening, Clytemnestra is running around the stage, lighting things on fire. The chorus, in this play portrayed by a bunch of old men from the city, is singing to the audience about a time early in the war when Agamemnon angered Artemis, as one is to do, and was forced to sacrifice his daughter, Iphigenia? I don't know, in order to appease the goddess. It seems a little random, especially since in the book it's a good 7 pages of background info about a story that doesn't really seem at all relevant, but I promise, it becomes important later. Eventually the chorus leader, who's like the only character from the chorus who can actually do stuff, is like, "What gives, Clytemnestra?" And Clytemnestra is all, "The Greeks have won the war! Yippee!" and goes around lighting the fires. Now, because Clytemnestra is evidently a woman, and the chorus is made up of old Greek men, and this is a ancient Greek play, the leader's response to the news is, and I kid you not, something along the lines of, "Ha! Women say the darndest things." And the whole chorus continues to call her crazy until an actual soldier from Agamemnon's fleet walks into the palace and is all like, "The Greeks have won the war! Yippee!" And Clytemnestra then gives her, "Ha! I told you guys so," speech, and asserts to the audience that she is in fact a most faithful wife, because she is the number 1 at her job. Foreshadowing. Sorry, something was in my throat there. I really don't know what. The chorus sings for another 3.5 pages, and then Agamemnon, the head honcho, the man himself, the whole enchilada, appears in all of his manly glory, in a burst of more masculine than Crips Henworth being in shirtless while sparkles fly through the sky, with another woman riding with him in the chariot. Oh, the irony. One little thing to note before I continue. Those who read the Iliad know that Agamemnon is kind of a little bit of a jerk face, to put it lightly, and essentially he thinks everything should be handed to him on a celestial bronze serving tray, and spoilers, that's not about to change. Now, Clytemnestra and Posse really roll out the welcome wagon on this one, and it's almost ridiculous how dramatic she is, as she asserts, for the second time, what a good wife she's foreshadowing. She has blood-red cloaks spread out before Agamemnon's chariot in the ultimate royal welcome home. And Agamemnon, curse word I shouldn't use on the internet, has the gall, the audacity to claim, "Oh no, I'm far too humble to accept such a gesture. I don't want the gods to be jealous." And then proceeds to get out of the chariot and walk all over the cloaks anyway. Because he's pious like that. Humble my ass, Agamemnon. Moving on. The other woman I mentioned before is a Trojan princess named Cassandra, whom Agamemnon brought back as a spoil of war. Probably without considering how it would look coming home after 10 years to your wife with a different princess in tow. But I think we've already established that Agamemnon is not the most righteous of dudes, so I'll spare you the rant. Now, Cassandra's kind of interesting, because she's like Deku from My Hero Academia. She's weak, innocent, and has a great ability that comes with a huge caveat. Deku can't be useful without breaking a body part, but he can cry without a backside. And Cassandra can see into the future, but the curse is that no one will believe her prophecies, even though they're all true. Now, Cassandra takes one look at the palace and refuses to go in, preferring to stand outside in a chariot and scream instead. She says that both she and Agamemnon will be murdered as soon as she enters the palace, but the chorus leader doesn't believe her, as per curse. Well, at least she tried. Now, the climax of the play is supposed to be a dramatic and tragic scene, but the writing style, coupled with the memory of a classmate reading the scene out loud in the most monotonous voice imaginable, the meaning starts to soften a bit. Agamemnon can be heard yelling in pain off stage, in essence, "Ugh, I've been stabbed!" An uncomfortably long pause, and then, "Ugh, I've been stabbed again!" For context, think of Judy's death scene from the beginning of Zootopia. But with, no blood, because that would be illegal in ancient Greece. The door of the palace suddenly opens to reveal blood-spattered Clytemnestra standing over the bathtub containing the dead bodies of Agamemnon and Cassandra. With a diabolical cackle, she launches into what is probably one of the first evil villain monologues, as she reveals that she was in fact not a faithful wife, which was a big surprise for me. I almost had a heart attack. For she had been bonking this dude bro named Aeschylus since Agamemnon left, and they'd planned this murder together, instead of, going on movie dates, like a regular couple. I guess it's cheaper, but still. Taking this as a cue, Aeschylus introduces himself as the true mastermind behind the plan, and claims that he is avenging his father, who, surprise, is none other than one of the kids that Thyestes ate, because his grandfather is Thyestes. Whoa. Plot. And this next part is Ryan's favorite. Instead of freaking out and, attacking the murderers or something like that, the chorus just rips into Aeschylus for not committing the murder himself, and instead letting the woman do the dirty work, like a coward. Aeschylus and the chorus leader then spend a few minutes throwing verbal rocks at each other like toddlers, before then Clytemnestra, surprisingly the sane one in the situation, all things considered, says, "Come on, girls, you're both pretty. Now shut the f up and be my trophy husband. Thank you, and go back to being a bunch of old white guys I don't care about. Bye," and sends the chorus away before retreating into the palace. And so ends the Agamemnon